everybody wants to know what these signs mean. These guys that were behind Charlie Kirk when he was assassinated are making all of these gestures and these signs, right? So we looked it up. Now, let's watch that again, right? This is the same guy that was at the Trump assassination. He's right there. Now the guy with the white hat and the guy that was the one at the Trump assassination attempt. They're both doing all these hand gestures. So is this what it means? So here's the deal. I found those signal interpretation things online, just like I found out the code words for the FBI when they're looking for certain criminals and stuff like that. That's how I do the research. Is there anyone that actually knows what those signals mean? Because those were military signals. And if what I found online is correct, that's what it meant. They saw the guy, they saw the shooter, but again, like at the Trump rally, they saw it, they signaled it, and nobody took him out. Come on now. If coincidence doesn't exist, it means that it's a pattern. Okay, I said what I said.
Again, everyone always has to think there's more to the story. Well, sometimes there's not. I've seen the autopsy report.
So I did do the request. They emailed me back. He did not go in for an autopsy. The death certificate was signed by the doctor at the hospital.
Of course, it was wedged between the two giant Israeli bodyguards the whole way.
If you want security, the Israelis know what they're doing.
Exactly.
New footage has emerged. Footage of Charlie Kirk's security team. And the more people watch it, the more questions they're asking. Questions about behavior, questions about reactions, questions that seem to make everyone uncomfortable. But here's what's even stranger. While the internet dissects every frame of that video, there's one person who's remained remarkably quiet about the security failures that day, Erika Kirk. Think about that for a moment. Her husband was shot. Security was right there. And yet, Erika hasn't questioned the event planning. She hasn't criticized the police response. She hasn't challenged the FBI's narrative. So where is her anger directed? At Candace Owens? At members of the public? At people asking what most would consider reasonable questions? Instead of demanding answers from those responsible for her husband's safety, she's attacking anyone who dares to look deeper. But it gets worse. Erika is now working with the same security guard who was hired to protect Charlie. The same guard who was on duty the day Charlie was shot. Let that sink in. And somehow, no one is questioning her about this connection.
You were the wife of somebody who literally was publicly executed. And there was a detail that was charged with providing security from them. Why, in what world, what reality would you ever be contracting those exact same security guards
No one's asking why she's aligned herself with the very people who were supposed to prevent what happened. What Erika wants is simple. She wants people to stop asking questions. She wants the public to accept the official story without scrutiny.
Stop. That's it. That's all I have to say. Stop.
She's pushing the narrative, and she's pushing it hard. But there's one topic she refuses to address. One topic she keeps avoiding. The security failure on September 10th. Here's the red flag that should concern everyone. The private security team has not been formally questioned. At least, not publicly. The media just repeats FBI talking points. But there's been no confirmation that these security guards, the people who were feet away from Charlie when the shot was fired, were ever interviewed as key witnesses. How is that possible? So who are these men? Online researchers started digging, and they found Rick Cutler, a retired Texas officer with an impressive resume. 6 years of military experience, over 30 years in law enforcement, 22 years in SWAT. He retired in 2019 and moved to Guatemala, where he trained first responders. There's video that confirms all of this. On paper, Rick looks like the perfect security professional, but then the connections start to surface. Rick works for United Rescue Rescue Alliance, a company that partnered with Jews for Jesus, a group that believes Yeshua was Jesus' original name, and Rick has a large Yeshua tattoo on his forearm. Before that, he worked for a missionary NGO called Iris Relief. A post from 2019 confirms his retirement from law enforcement and his move to Guatemala. So we have a man with deep religious ties and international connections. Interesting, but not inherently suspicious, until you look at what happened after the assassination. On September 11th, the day after Charlie was shot, Rick's brother posted on Facebook. He mentioned a brother working for the same private security firm, the same firm used by Charlie Kirk and Riley Gaines in Utah. And then there's the viral clip, the one showing Rick crouched over Charlie immediately after the shooting. In that footage, Rick appears to be smiling.
You retired after 30 years with the Irving, Texas Police Department, and you were a supervisor. 22 years of that was in SWAT. And prior to that, you had 6 years with the U.S. Army Military Police, active duty and reserves.
I had never planned to retire early, but circumstances in my life led to an opportunity to come to Guatemala and be in the mission field.
That image has raised serious public concern, and it's not hard to understand why, but we can't focus on Rick alone. Other security personnel were there. More men were hired to protect Charlie that day, and one name keeps coming up: Brian Harpole, the founder of Integrity Security Solutions. His company provided security on September 10th. According to Candace Owens, Brian attended a high-level military meeting just 2 days before the assassination. The tip came from a man in witness protection. If true, that's a hell of a coincidence.
Sees about 12 lieutenant colonels. He tells me, you do not see that many people, that many E4s, E5s, E6s. Please, military guys, forgive me for me not knowing what the proper vernacular. But he just goes, well, what's going on? He's like, you don't see this unless you're at the Pentagon or you're at the White House. He sees that the person that is with him, and he said, certain that the person that is with him is Brian Harpole.
And here's where things get even murkier. Brian allegedly claimed that drones were illegal at UVU, but that directly contradicts TPUSA's Frank Torex, who said Charlie viewed drone footage while en route to campus.
If the area lies in the Provo, Utah airspace, I can't fly. That's a 107D. We can't break the rules.
Anyway, on our way in, we had drone footage of the crowd building, and Charlie had it on his phone. I said, Charlie, I don't like this place. There are too many buildings.
So which is it? Were drones illegal? Or was Charlie watching drone surveillance just hours before he was shot? In the video footage from that day, you can see Brian standing over Charlie after the shooting. He appears to grab something, then he hands it to two men. One's wearing a light blue plaid shirt, the other's dressed in black. What did he hand them? Why did he hand it to them? No one's answering. Now let's talk about Dan Flood and Justin Davis. Both men reportedly worked for Schaffer Security Group, a firm founded by retired FBI agent Greg Schaffer. That company provided security for TPUSA until 2022. But in 2022, something changed. Dan Flood and Brian Harpole left Schaffer. Together, they founded Integrity Security Solutions, and they took over the TPUSA security contract. So the same people who had been protecting Charlie under one company simply formed a new company and kept the job. Seamless transition. Dan Flood is the man you need to pay attention to. He's the one in sunglasses, standing to Charlie's right in the footage. And just moments before the shot, he appears to make a hand signal. Maybe it's nothing. Maybe it's a nervous habit. But it raised enough suspicion that people are still talking about it. And here's the kicker. That same man, Dan Flood, is currently providing security for Erika Kirk. Let's step back and look at the bigger picture. You have numerous red flags involving the security team. You have connections that seem too convenient. You have behavior that doesn't add up. Now, there's no direct proof of involvement, but the circumstances, they raise serious questions that deserve answers. And yet, neither Erika nor the FBI are addressing these concerns. The security personnel who were closest to Charlie, the ones who should have been the first people interviewed, remain largely unexamined. So why is that? Why aren't the people who were hired to protect Charlie being scrutinized? Why is Erika working with them instead of demanding accountability from them? Will Erika succeed in shutting down the discussion? Will the public just move on and forget? Or will the pressure intensify? Because history has shown us one thing. When people are told to stop asking questions, when the powerful try to silence scrutiny, it doesn't make the questions go away. It makes them louder. So here's what we're left with. A security team with unexplained connections, a widow working with the guards who failed to protect her husband, and an official narrative that no one is allowed to question. Does any of that sit right with you?